The artifact awakens. In the heart of bustling New York City, amidst towering skyscrapers and the constant hum of life, Justin Wright sat alone in his small apartment. The last remnants of sunlight filtered through the window, casting a soft glow over his workspace. There, on his desk, sat an unassuming crystal artifact, a strange find from a local flea market. Justin had picked it up out of curiosity, amused by the shopkeeper's insistence that it was more than just a pretty stone. With a price tag of only $20, he had shrugged it off as a harmless trinket. But tonight, as his fingers brushed the cool surface of the crystal, something inexplicable happened. A soft warmth radiated from it, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. He drew his hand back, confused, just as a surge of light burst forth, flooding his apartment in a brilliant, shimmering blue. The light was overwhelming, filling every corner of the room until he had to shield his eyes. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the glow began to condense, forming a shape. When Justin finally looked again, he was no longer alone. A figure stood before him, a woman if she could be called that. Her skin was an exquisite shade of azure, deep and mesmerizing, reminiscent of the night sky. Her hair cascaded in dark, starlit waves past her shoulders, and her eyes held a strange luminescence, like two stars had found refuge within them. She wore a fitted, shimmering bodysuit that shifted colors with her every movement, a strange blend of elegance and alien sophistication. Justin blinked, mouth slightly open, trying to process the surreal sight before him. "Hello, Justin Wright," she spoke, her voice a melodic blend of curiosity and warmth. "I am Ziva, and I am here to grant you 3 gifts." Justin, still reeling, could only stare in stunned silence. "Wait, what? How do you know my name?" A soft, amused smile graced her lips. The artifact connects to its owner's essence. You touched it, and now here I am. Though I must admit, she tilted her head, studying him, you're rather calm for someone experiencing first contact with a being beyond your world. He chuckled nervously, trying to find his footing. Well, I write code for virtual reality systems, so I'm familiar with unexpected things, though this is a bit more intense than debugging a program. Ziva's laughter sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Your people are fascinating in how they try to rationalize everything. But, if it helps, she said, casting a glance around his cluttered apartment, I am not a product of your technology or imagination. I am as real as you are, though my origins lie far beyond your world. Justin's mind raced, shifting between awe and disbelief. So, what are you exactly? Some kind of genie? Your ancestors called my kind celestials, though there have been many names, she explained, seating herself on the edge of his desk. We exist in dimensions beyond your understanding, often serving as guides, intermediaries, and occasionally granting boons to curious mortals. As he took in her words, his gaze drifted to her eyes, 2 otherworldly orbs that seemed to hold galaxies within them. A shiver ran down his spine as he realized the vastness of the unknown she represented. And you're here to grant me wishes. 3, to be precise. It is an ancient pact, binding for both of us, she answered, inspecting a stray fidget cube on his desk with fascination. You may ask for anything within the realm of possibility, though there are limits. I cannot harm others or disrupt the laws of reality as you know them. A mix of excitement and skepticism welled up within him. All right, so what's the catch? Nothing comes for free, especially not wishes from an alien entity. She raised an elegant eyebrow, an amused glint in her eyes. You humans and your cautionary tales. But no, there is no hidden cost, no trap. The wishes are bound by cosmic law to be genuine. Justin sank into his chair, trying to make sense of the situation. So, you're okay with being summoned like this? To grant wishes for some random human? His question seemed to catch her off guard, her gaze softening. Few ever ask that. My purpose is to serve, yes, but there is freedom in my duty. And it has been a long time since anyone truly wanted to know who I am, rather than what I can give. Something shifted in Justin's heart, a glimmer of empathy and curiosity. Well, before I ask for anything, maybe you can tell me a bit about yourself. I don't usually make requests without knowing who I'm dealing with. He paused, feeling a bit ridiculous as he added, "Would you like some coffee or tea?" Ziva's expression softened, her guard momentarily down. "I have never had tea before, but I am open to the experience." With a nod, Justin busied himself in his small kitchen, selecting his favorite chai blend. The rich, spicy aroma filled the air as he prepared 2 cups, his mind racing with questions. Who was this being, really? What was her purpose in offering these gifts? And more importantly, what would he even wish for? As he handed her the steaming mug, Ziva inhaled deeply, a look of genuine curiosity flickering in her eyes. She took a sip and let out a sigh, almost in awe. "This is delightful," she said, her voice softer than before. "Your people may be primitive in many ways, but you do have a gift for small pleasures." Justin chuckled, feeling oddly comfortable despite the surreal nature of the encounter. "So tell me, Ziva, where are you from?" For the next hour, they sat in the dim glow of his apartment, exchanging tales. Ziva spoke of her world, a realm of energy and light where beings like her moved freely between dimensions. Her people, the Celestials, were once revered across galaxies, serving as intermediaries and peacekeepers. But over time, their purpose had shifted, becoming less about guardianship and more about observing and guiding select mortals. Her presence on Earth was part of an ancient pact, a promise to grant gifts of knowledge and growth to those willing to ask. "And what about the whole succubus thing?" Justin asked, sipping his tea. "Is that a misunderstanding?" "Human mythology has always been creative," Ziva replied, her gaze distant. "We are beings of energy, yes, but our existence transcends the labels your ancestors assigned to us. Pleasure and curiosity are part of our nature, but they are not all we are." A smile crept onto Justin's face. "So you're basically super advanced aliens stuck with a bad reputation." She laughed, a sound like stardust scattering in the wind. "A fitting summary. Though we did contribute to some of those tales. We are not perfect." The conversation flowed from one topic to another, ranging from technology to philosophy to human nature. Ziva was fascinated by Justin's world, and he found himself equally captivated by hers. He could feel a connection forming, something deeper than the typical human curiosity toward the unknown. Eventually, Justin leaned back, his gaze thoughtful. "You know, I came here thinking I'd be alone tonight, just another evening in front of my computer. But now I'm sitting here with an alien who's offering me the chance of a lifetime. It's strangely comforting." Ziva tilted her head, her luminous eyes studying him. "Perhaps that is part of the gift, the connection itself. You, Justin Wright, are different from most." "Well," he said with a grin, "different is just another word for human." They shared a smile, a silent understanding passing between them. The world outside was vast, filled with mysteries he could scarcely imagine. But tonight, within the quiet confines of his apartment, Justin felt that he had taken his first step into something extraordinary. And as the clock ticked past midnight, he knew one thing for certain: this was only the beginning. The first request. The early morning light seeped into Justin's apartment, casting a pale glow over the room. He hadn't slept, too caught up in the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions left in the wake of Ziva's visit. His apartment, usually a cluttered mess of tech gadgets and takeout containers, now felt like a doorway to another world, a world of energy beings, interdimensional realms, and promises of impossible gifts. Sipping his coffee, he went over their conversation in his mind, almost doubting if it had really happened. But there, on his desk, lay the crystal artifact, its surface now faintly pulsing, as if alive. It was a constant reminder that last night hadn't been a dream. Ziva had offered him 3 gifts, bound by cosmic law to be genuine, and she would return when he was ready to make his first request. Throughout the day, Justin went about his routine, trying to ignore the weight of the decision that loomed over him. Friends and colleagues came and went, their conversations revolving around deadlines and weekend plans, oblivious to the otherworldly choice he wrestled with. By evening, he found himself back at his apartment, sitting alone with the artifact. He was just reaching for it, his fingers brushing its warm surface, when a familiar blue light filled the room once again. Ziva materialized in front of him, her form shimmering with the faint glow of stars. She was every bit as mesmerizing as he remembered, her presence somehow both calming and exhilarating. "Good evening, Justin," she greeted, a gentle smile playing on her lips. "I see you've been thinking about your request." Justin nodded, his heart pounding with anticipation. "I have, but there's so much I could ask for. I mean, these are wishes that can reshape reality, right? I want to make sure I get it right." Ziva's gaze softened. Most humans do not hesitate. They ask for wealth, power, fame, whatever they believe will bring them happiness. You, however, seem more considerate. Justin laughed, a little self-conscious. "Maybe I just don't want to waste the opportunity. I'm sure you've granted plenty of requests that ended up being more of a curse than a blessing." Her eyes sparkled with a hint of amusement. "You're correct. Many of those who came before you did not understand the true nature of what they asked for. Wishes are powerful, and they often reveal a person's deepest desires and fears." He took a deep breath, the weight of her words sinking in. "Okay," he began, the words slowly forming as he spoke. "I want my first gift to be something meaningful, something that can really change things. I want to make a difference." Ziva's expression became thoughtful, her gaze intense. "And what difference do you wish to make? Is it for yourself? For others? The universe, perhaps?" "I want to understand," he replied, surprising himself with the honesty in his voice. "I want knowledge, wisdom, something that will allow me to see the world, no, the universe, from a new perspective. I want to expand my mind, to see things as you do." A silence fell between them, Ziva's eyes searching his face as if gauging the depth of his desire. Then slowly she nodded. "Very well, Justin. Your wish is noble, though not without its challenges. The gift of insight is a profound one, but it is also a burden." He felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "I'm ready." She extended her hand toward him, her fingers glowing with a soft blue light. "Close your eyes," she instructed, her voice calm and steady. "Open your mind to the unknown, to the vastness of existence." Justin obeyed, his pulse racing as he felt a warmth spread from her touch, seeping into his mind like water into parched soil. It was a strange, almost dizzying sensation, as if he were being lifted from his body, floating through an endless ocean of stars. Colors and shapes swirled around him, abstract yet familiar, a kaleidoscope of memories, ideas, and concepts that defied human comprehension. He could feel Ziva's presence beside him, guiding him through the vast mental landscape. Images flickered before his mind's eye, ancient civilizations, alien worlds teeming with life, technological marvels beyond anything Earth had achieved. He saw the birth of stars, the silent dance of galaxies, the delicate balance of forces that held the universe together. And then, deeper still, he felt something even more profound, the thoughts and emotions of other beings, creatures from worlds he couldn't name. Each one was unique, yet they shared a common thread of wonder, curiosity, and the desire to understand. He saw humanity through their eyes, fragile, yet resilient, flawed, yet capable of greatness. As the visions continued to unfold, he became aware of a growing clarity within himself, an understanding that transcended words. The mysteries of existence no longer seemed so distant or incomprehensible. He was beginning to see the universe not as a chaotic expanse, but as a tapestry woven with purpose and intention. Finally, the visions began to fade, and he felt himself being gently pulled back to reality. He opened his eyes to find himself sitting in his apartment once more, Ziva's hand resting on his shoulder. Her expression was one of quiet satisfaction, as if she could see the transformation that had taken place within him. "How do you feel?" she asked, her voice a soft whisper. Justin struggled to find the words, his mind still reeling from the experience. I don't know if I can explain it. It's like I've glimpsed something infinite, something beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Ziva nodded, her gaze understanding. That is the nature of true insight. It is a gift, but also a responsibility. You now possess a deeper understanding of the universe, but it will change the way you see everything, from the smallest atom to the farthest star. He took a deep breath, the weight of her words settling over him. I feel like I've just been given the key to a door I didn't even know existed, but now that I've opened it, I can't go back, can I? No, she replied, her tone both comforting and solemn. Knowledge is a one-way journey. Once you see the truth, it becomes a part of you. And with it comes a choice. How will you use this understanding? Will it be a light to guide you, or a shadow that haunts you? Her words stirred something within him, a sense of purpose he hadn't felt before. He realized that this gift was more than just a glimpse into the universe. It was an invitation to become part of something greater, to seek answers, to ask questions, to explore the unknown. As the initial excitement of his first wish faded, a new question arose in his mind. Ziva, he began hesitantly, I know there are rules, limits to what you can grant, but is there anything you've ever wanted, something that you wish for? Her eyes widened slightly, a flash of vulnerability breaking through her calm exterior. She looked away, her gaze distant. We Celestials have no need for wishes. Our existence is bound to the natural laws of the universe. We are observers, facilitators. We do not interfere in the way you might imagine. But, Justin pressed gently, if you could change one thing, what would it be? She hesitated, a shadow of sadness crossing her features. Perhaps, she said, her voice barely above a whisper, I would wish for connection. To truly understand what it means to feel as humans do, love, joy, sorrow. To live not as an entity bound by cosmic law, but as a being capable of choice. Her words struck a chord deep within him, resonating with the newfound understanding her gift had granted him. Maybe, he said softly, in helping humans, you're closer to that wish than you realize. They sat in silence, an unspoken bond forming between them. Justin felt that he was no longer just a receiver of her gifts, but someone who could offer her a glimpse of the humanity she yearned to understand. Their connection was no longer merely an agreement between alien and human. It was a bridge, a meeting of two worlds that could learn from one another. As Ziva prepared to leave, her form beginning to shimmer and fade, Justin called out to her, Ziva, thank you. Not just for the gift, but for trusting me. She gave him a small, genuine smile, one that held a world of unspoken emotions. The pleasure is mine, Justin Wright. I will return when you are ready for your second wish. With that, she vanished, leaving him alone in the quiet of his apartment. But he no longer felt the same emptiness that had plagued him before. Instead, he felt a sense of purpose, a calling to explore this new understanding and to use it in ways that mattered. As he stood by his window, gazing out at the city lights, he felt a flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, he could bridge the gap between worlds, between understanding and feeling. And with that, he knew his journey had only just begun. The gift of connection. In the days that followed his first wish, Justin noticed subtle shifts in his perception. The world around him seemed more vibrant, every detail richer and layered with meaning. He saw connections in places he had never looked before, the intricate network of veins on a leaf, the rhythm of people's footsteps on the city's streets, the silent interplay of energies between strangers passing by. This newfound insight was exhilarating, yet overwhelming. It was as though he had been given access to a dimension of reality hidden in plain sight. Despite the thrill, a growing restlessness gnawed at him. Justin couldn't shake the feeling that he was missing something crucial, something that went beyond knowledge and understanding. In the quiet of his apartment, he realized that while he could perceive the world on a deeper level, he still felt a certain detachment, a sense of observing rather than participating. This realization brought his thoughts back to Ziva, the celestial who had granted him his wish. One evening, as the city was bathed in twilight, he once again reached for the crystal artifact. The moment his fingers brushed its surface, it glowed with a familiar blue light, and moments later, Ziva appeared, her figure shimmering like a mirage made of stardust. "Justin," she greeted, her voice warm yet serene, as if she had been anticipating his call. "I sensed that you might have questions." He offered her a small smile, still marveling at her presence. "I've been thinking a lot about our last conversation, and I think I know what I want for my second wish." Ziva inclined her head, her gaze encouraging. "Then speak your wish, and if it is within my power, I shall grant it." He took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. "I want to understand human connection, love, empathy, loyalty. All those things that bring people together and make life, well, human. I want to experience the depth of what it means to be truly connected to someone else." Her expression softened, and for a moment he thought he saw a flicker of sorrow in her eyes. "You ask for a rare gift," she said gently, "one that is both beautiful and profound. But it is not a simple request. Connection requires openness, vulnerability, even risk. It is not something I can give you directly. It must be experienced." He nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. "I'm ready for that. I'm ready to face whatever it takes." Ziva reached out her hand, a faint glow forming around her fingertips. "Then I shall grant you the ability to feel as deeply as you seek. But remember, emotions are complex. They will not always bring you joy. Love, in particular, is often intertwined with pain, and the bonds you form may challenge you in ways knowledge cannot." As she touched his forehead, a surge of warmth washed over him, spreading through his heart, his mind, his entire being. It was a sensation unlike anything he had ever felt, a raw, unfiltered openness that filled him with both a profound sense of peace and a flutter of uncertainty. He closed his eyes, letting the sensations settle, and when he opened them again, he saw Ziva watching him with a quiet intensity. "How do you feel?" she asked softly. He struggled to find the words, the experience too vast to capture in language. "I feel alive. It's as if there's a new dimension within me, something I didn't even know I was missing." Ziva nodded, as if understanding all too well. "You have been given the capacity to feel deeply, to connect with others on a level that transcends words and thoughts. But remember, Justin, this is only the beginning. True connection must be nurtured. It is not a gift that can be taken for granted." Over the following weeks, Justin began to notice how this gift transformed his interactions with others. Conversations with friends and colleagues felt richer, as though he could sense the unspoken layers beneath their words. He felt a kinship with strangers, an inexplicable warmth that made him see them not as passers-by, but as individuals with lives, struggles, and dreams as complex as his own. One night, he found himself at a small coffee shop, the air filled with the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Lost in thought, he didn't notice the woman who sat down at the table next to him until she cleared her throat. Startled, he looked up to find her smiling at him, a gentle warmth in her eyes. "Mind if I join you?" she asked, her tone friendly yet hesitant. Justin gestured to the empty seat, surprised at how natural it felt to welcome her into his solitude. "Please be my guest." They struck up a conversation, exchanging stories about their lives, their hopes, and their dreams. Her name was Leah, a freelance artist with a passion for capturing the hidden beauty in everyday moments. As they talked, Justin felt an unmistakable connection forming, a sense of understanding that went beyond words. For the first time, he felt the depth of human connection Ziva had spoken of, a bond rooted in empathy, curiosity, and a shared appreciation for the mysteries of life. Hours passed unnoticed as they talked, and by the time they left the coffee shop, Justin felt as though he had known Leah his entire life. Walking side by side under the city lights, he realized that this was the gift Ziva had given him, the ability to experience the world through the lens of human connection. It was not a sudden, magical transformation, but a gradual unfolding, a discovery of something that had always been within him, waiting to be awakened. Over the weeks that followed, Justin and Lee's friendship blossomed, each interaction deepening the bond between them. They shared long conversations, exploring ideas and dreams with a mutual understanding that felt almost otherworldly. It was as though their souls had recognized each other, transcending the usual boundaries of friendship. Yet, as their connection grew, Justin began to experience the complexities that Xavier had warned him about. Moments of joy were often followed by moments of vulnerability, times when he felt the fear of opening up, the weight of his own insecurities. He found himself wrestling with doubts, wondering if he was worthy of the friendship they had built, if he could handle the emotional intensity of such a bond. One evening, as he sat alone in his apartment, he reached for the crystal artifact, hoping that Xavier would return. The artifact glowed softly, and moments later she appeared, her figure bathed in the same ethereal light as always. "Xavier," he began, his voice filled with a mixture of gratitude and confusion. "I think I finally understand what you meant about connection being a gift and a challenge. I've met someone who makes me feel things I didn't know I could feel. But it's not easy." She regarded him with a compassionate gaze. "That is the nature of true connection, Justin. It is both beautiful and difficult. To love, to care deeply, is to open yourself to the possibility of pain. But it is also what gives life its meaning." He nodded, her words resonating with the experiences he had shared with Leah. "I've learned so much, but there's still so much I don't understand. I guess I thought it would be simpler." "Few things of value are simple," Xavier replied, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "Even my kind, with all our knowledge, are bound by the same truths. We observe, we connect from a distance, but there are limits to what we can experience. Perhaps that is why I find humans so fascinating. Your capacity to love despite the risks, to form bonds even when you know they may one day break." Justin studied her, sensing an unspoken longing beneath her words. "You said once that you wish you could feel as humans do. Do you still feel that way?" She hesitated, her gaze distant. "I do," she admitted softly. "But it is not a wish I can fulfill. My existence is bound by cosmic law, and while I may understand your world, I cannot fully experience it. My connection to you, to anyone, will always be limited." An idea sparked in Justin's mind, a thought that seemed both daring and impossible. "What if I use my third wish for you?" Her eyes widened, surprise and something close to fear flashing across her face. "Justin, you cannot waste such a gift on me. This journey is meant for you." "But what if I want to share it with you?" He countered, feeling a surge of determination. "What if my final wish is for you to experience life as a human, to feel what it's like to truly connect?" Xavier looked at him, her expression torn. For a long moment, silence hung between them, filled with the weight of unspoken possibilities. Finally, she shook her head, a gentle yet firm refusal. "Your kindness humbles me, Justin," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I cannot accept such a gift. My role is to guide, to grant wishes, not to partake in them. And besides, this journey is not yet complete. There is still much for you to discover." Though disappointed, Justin felt a newfound respect for her, an understanding that her refusal was as much an act of courage as his offer had been. He realized that Xavier's journey, like his own, was marked by choices, sacrifices, and the acceptance of limitations. As she prepared to leave, Xavier offered him a final piece of wisdom. "Cherish the connections you make, Justin. They are the essence of life, the threads that bind us all together, even across the vastness of the cosmos." With that, she vanished, leaving him alone once more. Yet this time, he did not feel alone. He knew he carried with him the lessons she had taught him, the gift of connection, of understanding, and the courage to face both the joys and sorrows of human bonds. And as he looked out at the city lights, he knew that his journey was far from over. With each step, he was discovering not only the mysteries of the universe, but the depths of his own heart. The bonds of vulnerability, days had passed since Justin's last conversation with Ziva, but her words lingered in his mind like a soft echo, urging him to delve deeper into his understanding of connection. His friendship with Leah had only grown stronger, and with each shared moment, he began to realize the delicate balance between joy and vulnerability. He now saw connection not merely as an idea, but as an intricate dance, one that required trust, courage, and an acceptance of the unknown. Yet, for all the closeness he felt with Leah, he sensed an invisible barrier between them, a line he hesitated to cross. There were times when he wanted to tell her everything: the artifact, Ziva, the wishes, the insights he had gained. But he feared that doing so would risk not only their friendship, but also the sense of normalcy he clung to. He was torn between two worlds: the human experiences that grounded him and the mystical journey Ziva had set him on. One evening, as he and Leah strolled through Central Park under a canopy of autumn leaves, he felt the urge to open up, to share the mysteries that had altered his life. The air was crisp, the trees casting long shadows in the fading light. They walked in silence, comfortable in each other's presence, yet Justin could feel the weight of unspoken thoughts pressing on him. Finally, Lee broke the silence. "You've seemed different lately," she observed, glancing at him with a small smile. "Like a something you're carrying around, something you're not telling me." Justin hesitated, his pulse quickening. "I guess you could say that," he replied, struggling to find the right words. "It's complicated. I've been dealing with things that are hard to explain, things that don't exactly fit into everyday conversation." Leah stopped walking, turning to face him. "You can tell me, Justin. I don't know what it is you're holding back, but I want you to know that you don't have to carry it alone." Her words struck a chord deep within him, a reminder of the very lesson he had learned from Ziva: the importance of vulnerability in connection. He knew that this was a defining moment, a chance to share his truth or to keep it hidden forever. Taking a deep breath, he decided to let her in. "It sounds crazy, but I came into possession of something unusual," he began slowly, searching her face for any signs of disbelief. "A crystal artifact, something I found at a flea market. And when I touched it, I ended up summoning someone not of this world." Lee's eyes widened slightly, but to his surprise, she didn't interrupt or laugh. Instead, she listened intently, her expression a mix of curiosity and awe. Encouraged, Justin continued. "Her name is Ziva. She's a celestial, a being from a different dimension. She granted me 3 wishes, gifts that have changed the way I see the world." He paused, gauging her reaction, but Lee remained silent, her gaze steady. "And you've used 2 of them?" she asked quietly, as if piecing together a puzzle. "Yes," he replied, feeling both relief and vulnerability in admitting it aloud. "The first wish was for insight, to understand the universe on a deeper level, and the second was for connection, to experience human relationships, love, empathy, in a way I never have before." Leah was quiet for a moment, her gaze thoughtful. "That explains a lot," she said softly, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "I've noticed the change in you, Justin. It's like you're seeing the world through a different lens. But why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I was afraid," he admitted, the words tumbling out with unexpected honesty. "I didn't want to lose our friendship. I didn't know if you'd believe me or if you'd think I was losing my mind." Leah took a step closer, her hand reaching for his. "I believe you, Justin, and I appreciate you trusting me enough to tell me." She squeezed his hand gently, her warmth grounding him. "We all carry secrets, things that make us feel isolated. But it's when we share them that we find real connection. That's what you've been looking for, isn't it?" Justin nodded, a mixture of relief and gratitude flooding him. He realized that Leah had given him something even Ziva couldn't: acceptance, without question or judgment. In that moment, he understood the true meaning of vulnerability, the courage it took to open himself fully to another person. They continued walking, hand in hand, a newfound closeness settling between them. The park was quiet, the only sounds the rustling of leaves and the distant hum of the city. Justin felt as though a weight had been lifted, as if by sharing his story, he had freed himself from the loneliness he had once felt. As the evening wore on, they found a quiet bench by a small pond, the water reflecting the soft glow of the moon. Justin leaned back, feeling at peace, his gaze drifting to the stars above. He wondered if Zeva was watching, if she could sense the connection he had forged with Leah. "You said you have one more wish," Lee remarked, her voice thoughtful. "Do you know what you'll ask for?" Justin hesitated, the thought of his final wish both thrilling and daunting. "I don't know," he admitted. "I've thought about using it for something grand. World peace, maybe, or an end to suffering. But it feels like something that big is beyond even Zeva's power." Leah looked at him, her gaze unwavering. "Sometimes the most meaningful wishes are the simplest ones. It's not always about changing the world, Justin. Sometimes it's about changing ourselves." Her words lingered in his mind, filling him with a sense of clarity. He realized that his final wish didn't have to be a grand gesture. It could be something that aligned with the journey he had already begun, something that would allow him to continue growing, exploring, and connecting. As they sat together, he felt a warmth blossoming between them, a feeling that went beyond friendship or even romance. It was a deep, soulful bond, the kind of connection he had yearned for but never truly understood until now. In that moment, he knew that Leah was not just someone he cared about. She was a partner on his journey, a kindred spirit who shared his dreams, his hopes, and his fears. The next day, Justin felt compelled to reach out to Zeva one last time. As he touched the crystal, the now familiar glow filled his apartment, and Zeva appeared, her presence as radiant as ever. "Justin," she greeted him, her voice warm yet tinged with something he couldn't quite place. "You have called me again. Does this mean you are ready for your third wish?" He nodded, feeling both excitement and a hint of sadness. "Yes, I think I am. But I've realized that my wish isn't about changing the world or seeking more knowledge. It's about something more personal." Zeva tilted her head, intrigued. "What is it that you desire?" Justin took a deep breath, his heart racing. "I wish to continue this journey of understanding and connection, to carry forward the gifts you've given me. I want to be able to touch the lives of others, to offer them the same sense of wonder, empathy, and insight that you've shared with me." Zeva's expression softened, and for a moment he thought he saw a glimmer of emotion in her eyes. "A selfless wish, one that reflects the growth you have undergone. You have embraced the essence of what it means to be human, curiosity, compassion, and the courage to connect." She raised her hand, a soft glow enveloping it, and touched his forehead. "Then let this wish be fulfilled, Justin Wright. May you carry forward the gifts of understanding and empathy, touching lives as you have touched mine. May you become a bridge between worlds, a reminder that the beauty of existence lies in the connections we create." As the warmth of her touch spread through him, Justin felt an overwhelming sense of peace, a knowing that he was exactly where he needed to be. Zeva's words resonated within him, her blessing a final gift that bound them together in a way that transcended dimensions. As she began to fade, Zeva looked at him one last time, her gaze filled with something akin to pride. "Thank you, Justin," she whispered, her voice barely audible, "for reminding me of the beauty of humanity." And with that, she vanished, leaving him alone in the quiet of his apartment, yet somehow feeling more connected to the universe than ever before. Over the following months, Justin continued his journey, his life enriched by the gifts he had received. He shared his insights with others, finding ways to inspire those around him to see the world with fresh eyes. His bond with Leah deepened, each moment a testament to the power of vulnerability and trust. He realized that Zeva's gift was not a one-time blessing, but a lifelong journey, a path that led not to a destination, but to an ever-expanding understanding of himself and the universe. And as he looked out at the city lights each night, he felt a quiet sense of gratitude, knowing that somewhere, out there among the stars, Zeva was watching, her presence forever woven into the fabric of his life. The path of discovery. As autumn gave way to winter, Justin settled into a life that felt both familiar and profoundly changed. His connection with Leah continued to blossom, a steady flame that warmed him in ways he hadn't anticipated. But beneath the surface of his daily life, Justin sensed a calling, a pull towards something larger, something that Ziva's gifts had awakened within him. It was as if a door had been opened in his soul, and he could feel the boundless expanse of possibilities waiting on the other side. With each passing day, he found himself reflecting on Ziva's final words, that his journey was just beginning, and that he was meant to be a bridge between worlds. At first, he had interpreted her words as metaphorical, a reminder to carry forward her gifts through his interactions with others. But over time, he realized that the connection he felt to Ziva and the Celestials was deeper, rooted in a profound mystery that called out to him, urging him to explore. One evening, as snow blanketed the city's streets, Justin found himself drawn to the artifact once more. The crystal, still faintly glowing, felt like a lifeline to something beyond, a link to the cosmos that had changed his life. Although he had already used his 3 wishes, he sensed that Ziva's influence still lingered within the artifact, a thread connecting him to her and the realm she had come from. He sat by his desk, his fingers tracing the cool, polished surface of the crystal. In the quiet stillness of his apartment, he closed his eyes and allowed his mind to drift, letting the crystal's energy wash over him. Slowly, a feeling of calm enveloped him, a sensation of floating weightlessly, as if he were being lifted beyond the constraints of his physical body. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in his apartment. Instead, he stood in a vast, luminous landscape, a realm of swirling lights and shifting colors that seemed to stretch infinitely in every direction. The ground beneath him was composed of pure energy, shimmering and alive, while the sky above was a canvas of stars and galaxies, each one glowing with an otherworldly brilliance. "Welcome, Justin Wright." The voice was unmistakable. Turning, he saw Ziva standing a short distance away, her form glowing with a soft, radiant light that seemed to merge with the energy of the realm around them. She looked at him with a mixture of surprise and admiration, as if she hadn't expected him to find his way here. "Ziva," he breathed, still processing the surreal beauty of his surroundings. "Is this your world?" She nodded, a gentle smile on her lips. "This is one aspect of it, yes. It is a dimension that exists beyond physical form, a place where energy flows freely, unbound by the laws of your reality." He marveled at the sensation of standing in such a place, feeling both awestruck and humbled. "How am I here? I thought the wishes were over." "Your wishes may be complete, but the connection remains," she explained, her gaze steady. "Your spirit has resonated with the artifact, allowing you to enter this realm. It is rare for a human to achieve such a feat, Justin. Few possess the openness, the courage, and the depth of understanding required to traverse dimensions." Her words filled him with a sense of pride, but he could also sense the weight of responsibility that came with this newfound ability. "So, what happens now?" he asked, feeling both excited and uncertain. Ziva's expression grew serious. "Now you are free to explore, to seek answers to the questions that have brought you here. But know that this realm is vast and complex, and it reflects not only the energies of the cosmos, but also the thoughts and emotions of those who enter it. You will encounter aspects of yourself, hidden desires and fears that may challenge you." Justin felt a thrill of anticipation, mixed with a hint of trepidation. This was no longer just a journey of the mind. It was a journey of the soul, one that would test him in ways he couldn't yet comprehend. As he took his first tentative steps into the realm, he noticed that the ground beneath his feet responded to his movements, shifting and pulsing with each step. Shakes began to form around him, fleeting images of memories, dreams, and desires, each one a fragment of his consciousness brought to life by the energy of the dimension. He saw scenes from his childhood, a younger version of himself playing in a sunlit field, his parents laughing nearby. He saw memories of old friendships, moments of joy and sorrow, the bittersweet nostalgia of connections lost and found. And then he saw Leah, her face illuminated by the soft glow of the realm, her eyes filled with warmth and understanding. Her image lingered before him, a reminder of the bond they had built and the depth of emotion he had come to understand through her presence. As he moved deeper into the landscape, he became aware of another presence, a figure shrouded in shadow, lurking at the edges of his vision. He felt a chill run through him, sensing that this entity represented something darker, a part of himself he had yet to confront. Who is that?" he asked, glancing towards Ziva for guidance. She studied him with a knowing look. "That is a manifestation of your own doubts and fears, Justin. In this realm, such aspects of yourself take on form and substance, challenging you to confront them. If you wish to continue, you must face this shadow." Steeling himself, Justin stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the shadowy figure. As he approached, the figure began to take shape, revealing a version of himself, an echo of the man he had been before Ziva's intervention. This Justin was burdened by doubt, weighed down by insecurities and the fear of failure. His eyes were dark, his face lined with weariness, as if he had carried the weight of his worries alone for far too long. "You think you've changed," the shadow sneered, its voice dripping with bitterness. "You think that these gifts have made you better, stronger. But deep down, you're still the same, afraid, uncertain, unwilling to take risks." Justin felt a surge of anger rise within him, but he forced himself to remain calm. He knew that reacting with hostility would only feed the shadow's power. Instead, he took a deep breath and spoke with quiet determination. "You're right," he admitted, his voice steady. "I do have doubts, and I'm afraid. But I've learned that fear isn't something to avoid. It's something to face, to understand. It's part of what makes me human." The shadow seemed to falter, its form wavering as if weakened by his words. "But what if you fail?" it whispered, its voice filled with desperation. "What if all of this, these wishes, this journey leads to nothing?" Justin met its gaze, feeling a surge of empathy for this fractured part of himself. "Then I'll learn from it. I'll grow. Failure doesn't define me. It's just another step along the path." With that, the shadow began to dissolve, its form dissipating into the swirling energy of the realm. Justin felt a weight lift from his heart, a sense of liberation that filled him with renewed strength. He had faced his inner darkness, not by denying it, but by embracing it as part of his journey. Ziva watched him with quiet pride, a gentle smile gracing her lips. "You have passed the first trial, Justin. You have shown that true strength lies not in denying one's flaws, but in accepting them." He nodded, feeling a newfound clarity, as if he was seeing himself with fresh eyes. "Thank you, Ziva. I think I'm beginning to understand what you meant about being a bridge." Together, they continued deeper into the realm, the landscape shifting and transforming with each step. Justin felt a sense of unity within himself, a feeling of wholeness that had eluded him for much of his life. He realized that the gifts Ziva had given him were not merely powers or abilities. They were tools for self-discovery, invitations to explore the vastness of his own soul. As they walked, Ziva spoke softly, her words filled with wisdom and compassion. "You are no longer the same man who first summoned me, Justin. You have grown, not only in knowledge but in spirit. Your journey has brought you to a place where few have ventured, a place where understanding transcends the self and reaches toward the infinite." He looked at her, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I couldn't have done this without you, Ziva. You've shown me that the true magic of the universe isn't just in the stars or in other dimensions. It's within each of us, in our capacity to connect, to love, to change." Ziva smiled, her gaze filled with a warmth that mirrored his own. "Then my purpose has been fulfilled, Justin. You have become the bridge between worlds, not by leaving your humanity behind, but by embracing it fully." They paused, standing together at the edge of a vast, shimmering expanse. Beyond lay mysteries he couldn't yet comprehend, a boundless horizon filled with the promise of discovery. But he knew that wherever he went from here, he would carry with him the lessons he had learned, the gifts Ziva had given him, and the courage to face whatever lay ahead. As they stood in silence, Justin felt a profound sense of peace, and knowing that he was no longer alone in his journey. He had become part of something larger, a cosmic symphony that connected all life, all existence, across time and space. With a final glance at Zeva, he took a step forward, his heart open to whatever awaited him. And as he ventured into the unknown, he knew that his journey was far from over. It had only just begun.